Listen, I'm about to say something that's going to make a lot of you hit the comment section real quick. The fact that WWE waited until 2022 to bring WarGames to the main roster is an absolute disgrace to wrestling history. Triple H sat on one of the most violent, most dangerous, most legendary match concepts 4 years while it was tearing the house down in NXT, and you're telling me that's acceptable? Meanwhile, WCW was doing WarGames in the late 80s and 90s, creating moments that still get talked about today. But hey, let's just keep recycling the same old Hell in a Cell matches, right? I want you wrestling purists to sound off right now. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me WWE didn't fumble the bag by keeping WarGames locked away for so long. And for those of you who think I'm overreacting, stick around, because the moments I'm about to show you will prove exactly why this match should have been on the main roster from day one. This is Wrestling Zone 1, and today we're counting down the top 10 Survivor Series WarGames moments that prove this is the most destructive, most unpredictable, and straight-up insane match concept WWE has ever adopted. These aren't just spots, these are career-defining moments that remind us why 2 rings and 1 steel cage create absolute chaos. Number 10, Becky Lynch returned to violence. Let's kick this off with the man herself. Becky Lynch returning to WarGames in 2023 wasn't just a comeback, it was a statement. After everything she'd been through, after becoming a mother, after stepping away from the brutality that made her a legend, she walked right back into the Devil's Playground like she never left. The pop when her music hit, deafening. But what really made this moment top 10 worthy was watching Becky remind everyone that motherhood didn't soften her one bit. She came in like a wrecking ball, delivering those signature strikes, feeding off that crowd energy, and showing the new generation what it means to be the man. The look on Damage Control's faces when they realized they were trapped in there with her, priceless. This wasn't just a return, this was Becky Lynch reclaiming her throne in the most violent way possible. Here's a question for you, do you think Becky Lynch is more dangerous now than she was before becoming a mother? Drop your answer below. Number 9, Rhea Ripley's dominance showcased. Rhea Ripley in a WarGames environment is like putting a shark in a swimming pool. She thrives in chaos, and Survivor Series 2023 proved why she's called Mummy. The sheer physicality she brought to this match was something else. We're talking about a woman who was throwing her opponents around like ragdolls, using the cage as a weapon, and looking absolutely comfortable in the most uncomfortable environment wrestling has to offer. The spot where she pressed someone against the cage while trash talking, that's not just wrestling, that's psychological warfare. Rhea didn't just participate in WarGames, she owned it, dominated it, and made it clear that she's built different from everyone else in that women's division. The scary part? She's only getting better. Number 8, the Bloodline strategic warfare. Say what you want about the Bloodline, and trust me, there's plenty to say, but their WarGames strategy was wrestling psychology at its finest. The way they controlled the pace, the way they used those intervals between entrances to systematically destroy their opponents, the way they turned 2 rings and a cage into their personal playground. This is why Roman Reigns' Bloodline was the most dominant faction we've seen in years. They didn't just fight in WarGames, they executed a battle plan. Solo Psycho playing Enforcer, the Usos working like the well-oiled machine they are, and Sami Zayn before the betrayal being that wild card that added unpredictability. The Bloodline showed us that WarGames isn't just about violence, it's about intelligence, strategy, and knowing how to use every second to your advantage. Quick question for the Bloodline fans out there, was Sami Zayn the heart of the Bloodline, or was he always just an outsider? Let me know what you think. Number 7, Centimeter Punk's WarGames debut. Now we're getting into the really good stuff. Centimeter Punk in WarGames, the man who thrives on chaos, who built his entire career on being the anti-establishment rebel, finally getting his hands on WWE's most chaotic match. This was destiny. Punk didn't just show up, he brought that old-school ECW energy mixed with WWE main event polish. Every strike had meaning, every move had purpose, and every moment he was on screen, you couldn't look away. The chemistry he had working with his team, the way he used the cage not just as a weapon but as a psychological tool, this is what happens when you put a master storyteller in an environment that allows for maximum storytelling. Punk's WarGames debut reminded everyone why he's called the best in the world, and honestly, it made us all wonder why WWE waited so long to put him in this match. Number 6, Seth Rollins being Seth freaking Rollins. Nobody, and I mean nobody, adapts to high-pressure environments like Seth Rollins. This man has main event WrestleMania, he's stolen the show at every major premium live event, and when it came time for WarGames, he delivered exactly what you'd expect, pure excellence. The spot where Seth went full architect mode, using the environment to his advantage, calculating every risk, and still managing to pull off those high-flying maneuvers that should be impossible in a cage. That's vintage Rollins. But what really stood out was his leadership. You could see him directing traffic, organizing his team, making sure everyone was positioned correctly. Seth didn't just participate in WarGames, he orchestrated it like the symphony of destruction it's supposed to be. Here's something to debate: is Seth Rollins the best overall performer in WWE today? Sound off in the comments. Number 5. Drew McIntyre's Claymore heard around the world. Let me paint you a picture. Drew McIntyre, standing in the center of the WarGames structure, measuring up his opponent, with that look in his eyes that says someone's about to get destroyed. Then, boom, the Claymore connects so perfectly, so violently, that you can feel it through the screen. Drew's power has always been his calling card, but in the confined space of WarGames, with the steel cage amplifying every impact, that Claymore became something transcendent. The sound, the impact, the way his opponent just folded, this is the kind of moment that gets replayed in highlight reels for the next decade. Drew proved that sometimes you don't need elaborate spots or death-defying stunts, sometimes you just need raw, devastating power delivered with perfect precision. Number 4. The Women's WarGames breaking barriers. This is where we need to pause and give credit where it's absolutely due. The Women's WarGames matches haven't just been good, they've been outstanding, often outperforming the men's matches on the same card. These women have proven that they can be just as brutal, just as innovative, and just as captivating in the most dangerous match WWE offers. From Bianca Belair's power spots to Bayley's storytelling to Io Sky's high-flying insanity, the women have consistently shown that when you give them the opportunity, they will deliver. The barriers they've broken aren't just symbolic, they are real, tangible proof that women's wrestling has reached a level where gender doesn't matter, only talent does. These moments have redefined what's possible and have set a new standard for what WarGames can be. Number 3. Cody Rhodes and the American Nightmare mentality. Cody Rhodes finishing his story required going through absolute hell, and WarGames was one of those stops on his journey. What made Cody's WarGames moment so special wasn't just the physical performance, though that was incredible, it was the emotion behind every single move. You could see the weight of his family legacy, the burden of expectation, and the determination to prove he belongs at the top of WWE. Cody treated WarGames like it was WrestleMania, giving everything he had, bleeding, suffering, and pushing through pain that would have stopped lesser competitors. His performance reminded us why storytelling matters in wrestling, why emotional investment trumps athleticism alone, and why Cody Rhodes is one of the most important performers of this generation. Do you think Cody Rhodes would have finished his story without going through matches like WarGames? I'm curious about your thoughts. Number 2. The absolute carnage of table spots. Let's be real, WarGames without tables is like pizza without cheese. It's just not right. The table spots we've witnessed at Survivor Series WarGames events have been absolutely insane. We're talking about people being powerbombed through tables set up between the rings, superplex variations that send bodies crashing through wood and steel, and moments where multiple competitors go through tables simultaneously in spots that defy human logic. These aren't just stunts, they are calculated risks that these performers take because they know WarGames demands that level of commitment. Every table spot raises the stakes, every splintering piece of wood reminds us that these athletes are putting their bodies on the line, and every crash makes us wonder how anyone walks out of these matches. This is professional wrestling at its most visceral, most dangerous, and most real. Number 1. The match that started it all, the first main roster WarGames. And here we are, number 1. The moment that brought WarGames to the Survivor Series main roster stage. This wasn't just a match, it was a statement. After years of watching NXT tear it up with WarGames, after years of begging for WWE to give us this match on the biggest stages, we finally got it. And you know what? It delivered. The atmosphere, the violence, the storytelling, the way WWE presented this match as something truly special, everything came together perfectly. This was validation for everyone who believed WarGames belonged on the main roster. This was the moment that opened the door for everything that came after. Without this match exceeding expectations, we don't get the incredible WarGames moments that followed. This first main roster WarGames proved that some match concepts are timeless, that innovation from the past can still feel fresh, and that when WWE commits to something, they can knock it out of the park. So there you have it, the top 10 Survivor Series WarGames moments that prove this match is absolutely essential to WWE's future. Now I want to hear from you. What's your favorite WarGames moment? Did I miss something that should have made this list? Are you angry that your favorite moment didn't crack the top 10? Get in those comments right now and let me know. And if you made it this far, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 if you haven't already, and share this video with every wrestling fan who needs to understand why WarGames is the most brutal, most unpredictable, and